Hello, 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 everybody. Dusty Sage from MyChat.com here. I am now at Disney's California Adventure, which is in previews today for cast members. And I'm going to take you through the park and show you what's operating and what's not. Earlier today, I took you all on a 2 hour and 15-minute epic live stream from Disneyland. So when you're done watching this one, please check the MyChat channel on YouTube and watch the other video as well. It's a lot of great stuff today. I just got to tell you, I am exhausted from emotion. I have really enjoyed today. It is so empty at Disneyland, and I'm assuming California Adventure is the same. So let's take a look. First of all, the plaids here on Buena Vista Street, enjoying their bubbles. And I'm in my mask, but I'm smiling so big that I think that other guests could see me smiling through my mask. So here we are, Buena Vista Street. Count the people. It's much easier than those games where they put a bunch of gumballs in a glass jar and then make you guess how many, and the person who guesses closest gets the prize. Because you can actually count. I'm just looking to see if they redressed the windows. Now, recently, California Adventure was partially open for a food festival that they called A Touch of Disney, and several of the restaurants were open, and they had food booths, and a lot of all the shops on Buena Vista Street were open, and a couple other shops in the park, but not much more. So I'm hoping there's a lot more in operation today. I haven't been back since Touch of Disney. Here's Mickey and Donald right out here on Carthay Circle Fountain. So I'm gonna take a gander at these guys first. They have the Starbucks open, by the way, folks. It was closed during the Touch of Disney. So they built a little stage for Mickey and Donald. And they have the inside of Carthay Fountain closed off. You can see on the other side of the fountain, there's another stage. So a stage there and a stage here. It's Newsboy Mickey and Jughead Donald. There we go. We're getting some love from Mickey and Donald. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go into Hollywoodland first today because the one thing we've really been waiting to see is what does the Avengers Campus construction look like? And the one view of it we haven't seen yet is the view from over by Tower of Terror / Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm going to take you there first. And of course, we'll check out all the other stuff too, so don't worry. Oh, here comes Clarabelle Cow. We've been seeing so many characters today in the park. Clarabelle Cow, a classic. She is a beauty. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's it. My day is made. This is all I needed. She's my favorite. Of course, then I'm going to tell Pluto he's my favorite. Pluto, oh my gosh. See, I did. I told them both. They both think that they're my favorite. It is so much fun to be back, folks. And it is a beautiful day. I hear that it's going to be hotter than the blazes when the park finally opens on Friday. But today, the weather is just about perfect. I'm going to show you here. Carthay is open for business. They're seating people on the side patio and behind, just like they were during A Touch of Disney and before Touch of Disney, just as downtown Disney operation there for a while. Of course, these guests today are mostly cast members and their friends and family, so they're incredibly well behaved and, of course, thankful to be here and being very careful how they interact with the other cast members because the managers and everybody knows them. They don't want to lose their jobs. kind of an amazing time to be here because everyone's being so sweet and good and happy, sort of like a family reunion. We think the park is at about 15% capacity over at Disneyland. Not quite sure yet what the capacity level here is at California Adventure. I'm guessing it might be a little lower. There are so many plaids. I never realized that there were so many. Now, if you walk on the trolley tracks at Disneyland, you have to watch out for horse poop, but not at California Adventure. Hello! At California Adventure, those trolley tracks did something terrible, folks. There we go. My earbud fell out. Can you hear me? Oh, thank you. I appreciate you letting me know, folks. It's hard for me to hear because when I put the earbuds back in, I lost sound. Something like that. All right, here's a view we haven't seen in a while because they had it blocked off during the Touch of Disney. It's actually even operating. There is the Guardians of the Galaxy Tower. See the elevators dropping. Now this is a little bit new. The gate that leads from where the Hyperion Theater is, which is right here. And then there's this wall. And then right here is an Avengers Campus sign that lets you know that you're entering another world. You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Oh, wait. Wrong attraction. What we're looking at there is not docking bay, what do they call it? The PYM test kitchen. The docking bay is the other part. PYM test kitchen, kind of an Ant-Man-ish themed restaurant where food comes in different sizes. Big foods come little, little foods come big. You can see also on the ground, this is new, sort of a magic residue, maybe? It's sort of made out of glass and it's embedded in the concrete. It's pretty, like art glass. Some sparkles in it, and it goes throughout the area. Sort of like the tower was transported here and it's eaten up the real world that was here when it transported in. And then the residue continues all the way up onto the concrete even. It says that it's a 25-minute wait, and I would imagine that it probably is. This is also a great view of the Quinjet up there. It's huge. Okay. We've seen it from other views and we have some aerial images of it, but seeing it from here where we're pretty close, that is gigantic. It hangs over the front of the building. Now that building will have a little shop in it, but it's really a facade for a future attraction, a roller coaster where you're flying a Quinjet to Wakanda, but that has been either canceled or delayed. And then a little bit closer on the test kitchen here. We've been told that Avengers Campus is really complete, sort of waiting for capacity to increase a little tiny bit, and then they're going to do an opening on the 4th of next month. So June 4th, you can visit Avengers Campus. And that is the one day that sold out first for California Adventure. For the most part, you can go to California Adventure whenever you want. You do need a reservation, but it's been widely available. Disneyland is the one with the most days sold out. There are a few days where both parks are sold out. But if you're willing to get a park hopper ticket, then you can park hop over to Disneyland after 1. So if Disneyland is sold out for the day, but you see that there's a park hopper available for California Adventure, and you really, really, really want to go to Disneyland, get the park hopper for California Adventure, and you can park hop at 1. And then you can spend from 1 until 7 at Disneyland. Walk over here and see what's happening in the Hollywood Studios area. Let me tell you all how lazy I've been during the shutdowns and the pandemic. This way to wield the shield. Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay. I used to go to theme parks 2-3 days a week to shoot photos, take videos for my shed articles and for you all before the pandemic. So I got a lot of exercise, a lot of walking in the heat and carrying bags and cameras. But since the shutdown, I have been lazy. The food truck is open. Almost feels like a food festival with all these tables here right now. You can see the sign there. Mobile order windows. So if you need a beer, it's very popular. Thank you, Amy. I agree. If you enjoy the tour, like, share, comment. So Monsters Inc. is open. Mike and Sully to the rescue. And it looks like stage 17 is closed. So they still have the signs up for the Disney Backlot Premiere Shop, but it does not appear to be open from this side. So it's probably open to regular guests today from the Esplanade. Lounge fly bags. If Natalie is watching, she is probably going, oh, okay. Just really curious what merchandise she would see today in the parks. And I sort of let her down because in the first live video, I wasn't able to really go in any stores and take video of the merch because I was afraid of losing the internet connection and dropping the feed. Oh, there she is. She's watching. When you talk about someone, you've got to be very careful. Hi, Natalie. Natalie also helped us today. Andy Castro from Dateline Disneyland and myself were here today and writing up our articles for Mice Chat. And we were sending pictures to Natalie, and she was the one putting the articles together. So we read our articles about the brand new Snow White's Enchanted Wish attraction or the changes to the Haunted Mansion. Natalie put those together with our photos and video. Thank you very much, Natalie. David, I'm glad you enjoy me walking around the park because it feels like that's all I've done today. I have ridden some attractions, and since waits are so short, I've been able to just get on and off the attraction. And I've enjoyed walking around probably more than the attractions because the parks are freshly planted, so few people, the weather's great, and it just feels like a resort vacation to me after so long of being, doing nothing. I'm gonna walk over here so we can see the gardens on our way over to the airfield. Do you all have a favorite part of California Adventure? I know there are people, oh, that's very lovely. Isn't that nice? Looks like the campus are getting ready to bloom. The daylilies. There's tape markers on the ground. Please wait here, please wait here. And I think it's to have your photo taken with Walt. Sure enough, it leads us to Walt and Mickey. Storytellers is the name of this statue. It looks like they got an update too. They're polished up. You can see more of the features on Mickey's face. Howdy, Walt. One park Walt never saw this park. You can see now there's Clarabelle. We saw her going into position earlier. She's up on the stage now. She's separated from the guests. Leaving the circle and headed into Grizzly Peak Airfield. This area is my favorite part of the park, not the airfield per se, but the whole Grizzly Peak area. The mountain, the waterfalls, the trees. It feels very lush. Smoke jumpers. And everybody's operating with a sort of limited menu right now. Just had lunch at the Plaza Inn over at Disneyland. And before, of course, Plaza Inn has always been famous for the fried chicken, and that's what they have. But they also had pot roast and salmon and different kinds of pasta and a salad. And the salad and the pasta and the salmon and the pot roast are all gone. So right now, all you can get is fried chicken. And then if you're a kid, they have penne pasta as well. So you have to be careful. Things are not quite the same as they were, as you remember. And I really want to reiterate tips that will help you out. It's an absolute must for you to order your food via mobile order as soon as you get to the park. So pick out a time later in the day that you want to eat, but go ahead and order it. Pick the time and order it in the morning. And then you'll be able to just walk up to the counter and pick up your food. People were waiting up to an hour to get fried chicken today at Plaza Inn. Hello. Jason, you can check my chat out today, and then tonight, Andy will have an article about the opening day of Disneyland. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back here, and I'm going to start working on an article about the reopening of DCA. We'll have articles about the merchandise, some of the restaurants. So a lot of things for us to cover. Definitely worth checking the site and our social media feeds. I'm showing you this because Grizzly is closed. It's actually under refurbishment. And see scaffolding on the bridge over there. The flume is, well, there's no water coming down the waterfall. There is some water in the flume. They probably needed to float some of the boats out. One of the things that was nice about the food festival is they put these tables everywhere. So there are parts of the park that don't really even have food service that have tables. So if you get your food from smoke jumpers, instead of eating right there in the busy part of smoke jumpers with everyone else, grab your food, come down the Grizzly Trail, and get yourself one of these nice tables in the shade of the tree, and look at this view. It's like a forest there. Grand Californian is just days away from opening. They reopen on the 29th, I believe, the day before the official reopening of the parks. You can see the DVC folks are working on their booth there, getting it ready to open. They haven't been staffing the Disney Vacation Club booths in the parks. Let me show you all something. So Grizzly is closed, but one of the custodians left a pine cone Mickey. That's my shadow. Hello, everybody. Yeah, it's nice to see some things open that we hadn't seen open before, like the Russian River Outfitters. It's a cute store. We're not going to really go in, but we're going to peek our head in so you can see what it looks like. But there's a lot of theming and stuff on the walls in this store. It's cool. See it there. And then when you look up above, we have a kind of a map of mountains and their heights. Sorry, my signal strength dropped when we went inside, so I popped out really quick. We are going to peek at the other side of the flume ride here. See, all the boats are stacked up right over there. Redwood Creek Challenge Trail also closed. That is interesting. You'd think outdoor areas might be open, but it's a kid's playground. It's a lot of touching and things, so they've got it closed. It's a peaceful part of the park. Music they play, the lack of people and the trees and the fake bird noises. We put out a bird feeder at our house at the beginning of the pandemic thinking, well, we'll at least be able to see the birds. The birds never showed up. I could have used some fake bird noises. I was just getting ready to take the bird feeder down the other day because it's filled with gross old bird seed. And suddenly there were birds. Now we've got birds every day. But don't worry, I'll still give them fresh bird seed. Another little stage over here. It says paw sickles. So who is it that's over here normally? Is this Pluto? Zootopia friends. I love it. That's the kind of thing Disney's been doing, setting up little stages, putting characters off in gardens and queues and windows and balconies, get them just out of reach of guests, but still be able to see them, and usually high enough up that if you turn around and take a selfie, they show up in the picture really nicely, and you don't have to wait in line. Okay, there's the coaster. Mermaid is open as well. Do a little figure eight here. I'm going to take you into Pixar Pier. This way, we're going to walk all the way around Pixar Pier and back towards this direction, and then head towards Avengers Campus. Go through Cars Land. You've probably all seen some of the videos and photos by now. Various people of Disneyland and California Adventure. And most of the rides are open. I'd say all the big ones, most of the big ones. Matterhorn is down. Grizzly is down. And then there are some of the smaller rides that are closed, like Buzz Lightyear, Challenge Trail. So if you didn't get a reservation for Lamplight Lounge and you'd like to get in, they do have the ability for you to add your name to a mobile wait list. And I recommend that because there's a good chance you'll get in earlier in the day. You put your name on the list, the better. Because a lot of people do not show up to their reservations. And they hold some aside for walk ups anyway. So it's not a physical line. You don't have to wait out in the sun. Knickknacks is reopened. So many more stores reopened than during a Touch of Disney. The surprising thing is it felt like there were more people at a Touch of Disney than there are here right now. So now that the park is open, or at least in previews, a lot of stuff is open, but there's fewer people. They've been making jigsaw puzzles and things out of the billboards here. One thing that you may notice is that some of the rides are dispatched a lot slower than before. It takes a little longer to load vehicles and coaster trains, etc., because of the way they're seating. It's not just telling the guests get in. They're having to specifically place guests and leave rows open. And you can only have one guest for one party per row, and then you need to leave space between rows so that people are 6 feet apart. There's a lot of work involved. So we heard a train launch when I first got here, and here's one coming now. There it is.
4, 3, 2, 1,
Show you how the line looks. There's not that many people in queue when you consider that they're all 6 feet apart. Looking at the train now, and they're seating, unless there's 4 people in a family and they put all 4 of you into a car. For the most part, it's 1 or 2 people, and so they're seating one group per car. The second row on most of those cars is empty. That's a know before you go kind of thing, so you know how to set your expectations. Heard somebody arguing with a cast member about how they were seating vehicles and not worth it. They have had a lot of training about what they can and can't do. The rides that have the worst seating right now, or they're not seating the most rows, is the boat rides, like Pirates and Small World, where they're seating just a couple of rows in each boat. And that really cuts it to Casky, makes the lines very long. But then some of the rides, like the Fantasyland dark rides, they only had, 2 seats anyway, or 4. So you're not really hurting capacity. The lines there seem to move faster than you would expect. They move slower than you'd expect other places. Mansion had one of the longest waits in the park today. Space Mountain had one of the shortest. Which is how you do the mobile order. You either pull it up in your app or you can scan the QR code and it brings up the menu and you can order. Midway Mania shop is closed, but the ride is open. There was a silly rumor a few weeks ago. Somebody was here at a Touch of Disney and pulled the curtain back on Mr. Potato Head and saw him undressed and assumed that they were removing him. Every animatronic in both parks, for the most part, was undressed during the pandemic. A cast member friend rode Pirates a couple of days ago. D. D. Oh, I see. 3D. Yuck. So, cast member friend rode Pirates a few days ago, and all of the animatronics were undressed. So it was a little bit like riding a Terminator ride. All of those metal skeletons moving around and saying their lines. Today, everything's fully dressed and ready to go, and all the clothes are been cleaned and ironed. It's a little funny because they make it clean for when they put it on the Pirates. The Pirates wouldn't be clean in real life. But within a week or two, all of that falls out and their clothes look floppy and more like they should. The hairy-legged pirate, the one with the leg dangling over you as you go into the tunnel after the fire scene, had clothes that looked particularly clean. There's Sadness over here on this stage. Aw. Oh my. Hi, Sadness. Oh, well, we're glad you're here. She's a little blue. Sadness is a little blue today. Bing Bong Sweet Stuff was open during a Touch Disney. They have some great treats back there. That's a good place to go for an apple or cookie, slushy. All those things that give you diabetes. That's the place to get it. I particularly like this area where the emotional whirlwind is, just the colors and the fact they even decorated the trash can. It's part of Pixar Pier, and that's the normal Pixar Pier trash can, so there's no real reason for them to have to create special ones for such a small area, but they did. And there's like 3 parties waiting to ride Emotional Whirlwind up there. And they spun benches here at the exit. Something seemed strange to me when I looked at the list of restaurants that would be open and closed. It looked like the Paradise Garden restaurants were going to be closed, and I'm scratching my head on that because there's so much seating over here, outdoor seating. Sure enough, closed. Good news, I think. Garden Grill is maybe open. But there's just some people standing. Social distancing on the ground. Registers stop ditch. The girl picked up the teacher during her. This is for all the tables that used to be over here. They left out festival, including the wings. Curious. And the big to be there on the arch for Paradise Gardens are also missing. The Sky School is a 5-minute wait. Just to give you an idea of how much smaller this park is than Disneyland, our Disneyland tour was 2 hours and 15 minutes. And we've now seen a big chunk of California Adventure in about 38 minutes. But we still have to go down the parade route and look at Cars Land and see the backside of the Avengers Campus construction. But that's about it. Zephyr not operating today. Can anyone who was at the Touch of Disney Festival remember? Was that big rusty box out in the middle of the lagoon during the festival? Well, I am also always happy when I get invited to stuff Kathleen. Happy to be able to share it with you all. Today was a little different. I wasn't invited by Disney. I was actually invited by a couple of cast members. We were also at Knott's Berry Farm today. They did their preview of their new Return to the Berry Tales ride. Scott went over there for us. We'll have an article on that tonight. A lot of stuff to share with you. He really liked it. A lot like Midway Mania, but with really cute fairy tales characters from the original attraction. Great music as well. This little one playing around. No one in line for Mermaid. Hi. Hop right on a clamshell. No waiting. Air conditioning. Little Mermaid is rarely crowded, and there are a couple of reasons for that. One is it's a little underwhelming, but I still like it. The other reason is it has such high capacity. It's the highest capacity attraction in this park. And since the park rarely has very many guests, Little Mermaid rarely has a line. But when the park gets packed on rare occasions, they can get quite the line at Little Mermaid. I'm going to enter Cars Land from my favorite direction. You can hear a lot of you saying, yep, me too.
Cool, thank you.
We finally have the scaffolding down on Casino Cucamonga. During the festival, it was scaffolded. Take a look here. So you can see the building freshly painted. There are 3 eateries back here and a limited number of tables. During the festival, they only had Casino Cucamonga and Rita's Margaritas open, and they didn't have enough tables. Can you imagine if they had Lucky Fortune Cookery and the bakery and Casino Cucamonga all open? For sure would not have enough seating. The reason for the lack of seating is they have to space the tables out 6 feet apart. So half the tables had to be removed. So the bakery and the Lucky Fortune Cookery are closed. In fact, there are tables right in front of where you would normally order. See that? Here's Rita's Margaritas. Nobody really in line there. It was super popular during the festival. Everyone wanted a drink. So we're about to see something that I think is one of the most clever entrances to any Disney park anywhere, with the exception of some amazing things over at Tokyo Disney Sea. Yeah, they left up tables from the festival, these tall bar tables. So there's this archway. That perfectly frames the Cadillac Mountain Ridge. Look at that. Oh, and it's like a postcard. Once those people step out of frame, it's like a painting, right? The beer cart was open. Mater used it. Dang near fainted. Looked like he had just been painted rusty. One of the best attractions Disney's done. Probably the best attraction in this park. Radiator Springs Racers. Still one of the longest lines of the resort. These are real blooms, folks. They're not poked in there fake. Big, giant, real pink, beautiful cactus blooms. Oh, stunning. Wow. And they don't last long. During the festival, the last week or so, they opened up the Flo's Diner. The Flo's is reopened now. But they also reopened the shops. Here's another of those fuel rods. $30 to buy a new one. And then they're swappable. They don't say free swapping anymore. If you have one from the original contract when they said that they would be swappable for life, you can contact the company and they'll give you a code to use for free swaps. There's the entrance to Radiator Springs Racers. Luigi's is open. The Rollickin' Roadsters. I think this attraction is as much fun to watch as it is to actually ride. Hopefully see it going when we head back. We're just walking down now to look at the backside of Avengers Campus. When I came here during the festival, I walked back here to look at it, and the security guard said, "What are you looking at?" He says, "The backside of Avengers Campus." And he says, "Well, it looks even better on the other side." No doubt. But you can see the backside of the Quinjet. So we looked at it from the tower side earlier. Kind of see that the transition here is sort of like a bunker looking concrete wall that's been heavily distressed. Get you a better view of the Quinjet. There we go. There it is from this side. Bad news, Appleman. There is no word on the Avengers e-ticket Quinjet ride roller coaster. It was promised by Bob Chapek at the last D23 Expo, but sadly, pandemic, budget cuts, things like that have been suspended for the time being. I think if people rush back to the parks and or California Adventure never gets busy and they need another draw to pull people in, something like that happen. There were so few people here that one of the bars are empty. And there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 parties waiting to ride this next round. Great time to visit. Great time to visit. This is the popular question of the day. Are these the crowd levels we can expect when the park opens on the 30th? Yes-ish. Hear in my voice the the hesitation. We think that the parks are both at about 15% capacity today. California Adventure likely a little less, just because not as many people were interested in getting tickets for this park. And the same is true for tickets that you're booking right now on Disneyland.com. So California Adventure will definitely be at very low capacity. Disneyland is also at low capacity, but mainly because they haven't been able to staff enough cast members. So while they're staffing up, they're keeping their attendance low. Uh, everybody usually throws their hands up. They didn't get stuff. That's so cute. Right? So as they're able to hire more people back, and we met several cast members today who today was their first day on the job. So it's taken that long to get people staffed up. And there's still locations that haven't opened because they don't have enough cast to run them. So Disneyland might open at 15 to 20% capacity. California Adventure likely at 15, and then it'll ramp up from there. The cozy cones. Giddy up, giddy up. So what they did here, because these tables are bolted to the ground, instead of just moving the table 6 feet apart, they put signs on some of the tables that tables not available. And windows are closed in some of the cones. So again, it's a staffing thing. It's a low capacity thing. Not as many guests don't need as much resources. Table here is interesting because normally Mater would be backed into that spot, meeting and greeting with people. They still have Mater out and about, but he's just not meeting people here, meeting them closer to the observation area for radiator springs racers. Some mobile order signs for the cones. Sarge's is closed over here. And I believe that Fillmore's Taste Inn is also closed. Let's see if they've got it opened yet. There he is, Mater, getting packed in over here by Fillmore's.
Look at me! Oh, look at you!
So Fillmore's is closed, but what they've done, these stands that would normally have fruits and drinks and things, they've just put parts and oil in them. They've dressed it up, so it just looks like a photo spot. It is normally a beverage and snack spot. Tow Maters over there running. You'll recall that when the parks were shut down, that this attraction, half of it was closed for refurbishment. They had pulled every tractor off of this side, pulled the turntables up, all three of them, and rebuilt it. They're not seating this side. They're only seating that side over there. So it's a half capacity. And so exact standing for the blue sky cellar, just watching everybody. And over here where the black wall is, this will be the main entrance to Avengers Campus. The Spider-Man ride over there. Lots and lots of people have been able to ride it already. It is done. I'm walking over by the vineyard because when the festival started, these were just sticks. You can see that they are completely grown out now, super green. Even the roses at the end of each row are blooming, beautiful yellow roses. Great question about tiered pricing and why Disney has got it set the way that they do. And it's a demand thing. So the higher the demand for a given day, the more Disney wants to charge so that they can charge to meet the demand. So days that not as many people would want to go would have a lower price. Days when lots of people want to go would have a higher price. That's the philosophy behind it. I think Disney may be a little bit surprised by the reaction because tickets have not sold as well as Disney had hoped. So Disneyland's doing okay. California Adventure is not. And I think we may see separate pricing for the two parks. There'll be one price for a Disneyland only ticket, one price for a California Adventure only ticket, and then a park hopper price. And I do think that since tickets didn't sell quite as well for the opening 2 months, that for July and August, we might see ticket prices actually go down, especially on weekdays. So let's all keep our eyes open for when July dates are released and see how many of them are at tiers 1, 2, 3 instead of just 4 and 5, as it has been. Well, this is where we're going to wrap up our little video walk through California Adventure. We've spent a little under an hour, about an hour, walking through the park leisurely. Walk towards the waterfall here. It's a very zen spot. There's something truly cleansing and magical about rushing waters. Ah, lovely. Inspiration Falls. So it was my pleasure to be with you again, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you'll take a moment to share this video once I save it. So it will be permanently on YouTube and Facebook. So you'll be able to go back and watch part of the video that you missed. You'll also be able to share it to your own page or groups that you're on. And we always appreciate that. The more people that see our videos, the more often we will do them. We also have a number of articles up on My Chat right now. We have an article about the brand new Snow White's Enchanted Wish at Disneyland. Also have a full ride through video. It came out great, the ride and the video. So take a look at that. You can see the video on our YouTube, or you can go to mychat.com and read the whole article, and the video is embedded. We also have an article about the changes to the Haunted Mansion. I will say temper your expectations on that one. It is very minimal, but important changes nonetheless. And then Andy will have an article about opening day of Disneyland you can read tonight. We'll also have something about Fairy Tales, the new ride at Knott's. So plenty for you all to read. Tomorrow I will be back at the park, so I will do more live streaming. Tomorrow I hope to take you on some attractions with me. So check back. If you haven't, be sure to follow our page wherever you're watching us. so that you see the alert when our live streams tomorrow go, because you won't want to miss that. And you all are the best. You're the reason we do this. See, the sweet spot is watching us right now. And if all goes well, I'll be doing a video with the sweet spot tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, everyone. That's our magic for today. It's a wrap. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back with you again real soon.